everybody, this is Summer Heacock, aka Fizzy Girl, and I am here to answer some questions from Valerie for Stuck in Books. Thank you very much for having me, by the way. Huge fan of the blog, very honored to be here. Valerie says, this story isn't typical. How did you come up with the idea for it? I actually came up with the idea for this book after I was diagnosed with this disorder, vaginismus, after the birth of our son. And I turned to the internet for resources, and there was just absolutely nothing. There were no books, no websites, no information, and I was feeling very isolated and alone. And then one day I was out for the first time with a group of PTA moms from my school, a bunch of soccer moms. And I don't know if it was the sexual frustration. I don't know if it was the nerves of being with these women, but it sort of like bubbled out of me by me sort of half screaming in the car, hey, did you guys know that there's vagina therapists? And while I expected for there to be like shock and awe, there was instead of me being flung from a moving minivan on the interstate, these women were like, oh yeah, totally, our hospital has those. And it turned out that of the four of them, one had actually been through the physical therapy vaginismus, and a couple other had been through disorders similar to it, and others had like seen friends go through the whole process. And I should have been all like, yeah, sisterhood, in this together, but instead I got really, really mad. And I'm like, why the hell are we not talking about this? Because this is why there's no resources, is because nobody is speaking about this openly. It's something that everybody deals with quietly and with shame. And so I decided that I was going to write the book that I wish had existed when I was going through my diagnosis, and that is how the book was born. Valerie asks, I love blurred lines kind of stories. What's fun about writing one? I love blurred lines kinds of stories. Actually, I actually tend to prefer them to stories where it's very obvious from the get-go of like two people that are supposed to end up together. I really like when it's just a conversation or it's banter and arguments, whatever, and it ends up being way more flirtatious and loaded with that chemistry than two people who are intentionally trying to flirt with each other. And I find that very delightful to read. A series that I think that gets this really, really right is the Stephanie Plum series, which is like, I don't know, 23 books long right now, and I would call it a guilty pleasure if I believed in feeling guilty about things that bring me pleasure, but I don't. I really love this a lot because she's got a on-again, off-again boyfriend throughout the entire series, but the real chemistry flows with this guy that she's definitely not supposed to be with, and it's just like a masterclass in building that like slow, steady, sexual tension. And by the way, Team Ranger forever. So check that out, the Stephanie Plum series by Janet Ivanovich, if you ever get a chance. It's really, really, really delightful. And finally, tell us something about Kat and Ben that we don't learn in the story. Okay. For Kat, it's not in the story, but it was actually written, but we had to cut it out because we didn't have space for it. That sort of like really uptight, semi-abusive aunt that had installed all these neuroses in Kat when she was younger. Kat actually has a confrontation with her later in the book that sort of leads to, it's like kind of a catalyst actually for her breaking off and like cracking under the pressure of it all. She'd been taught to, hate romance and not believe in love and hate Disney princesses by this really, again, semi-abusive aunt. And then she runs into her, and there's the aunt with like her boobs propped up to her chin and bright red lipstick, and I love her in every port. And it just sort of unhinges Kat and serves to push her down this way that, eventually opens up for what we hope is a happily ever after at some point. But at the time, it's really unsettling for her. And again, it's not in the book, and I'm sorry nobody gets to read that, but in my mind, that's canon. As for something we don't know about Ben, I didn't get to put this in the book, but I intend to if I get to write about these characters again, which would be super. I have always pictured Ben as a cat person, so he's got fish in this book. But if I write the next one, I would definitely have him have a cat. Have a cat. Her name is Cat, and he's a cat person. Oh my god. I've been working on this book for like 2.5 years, and I just now, oh my god. Yeah, no, I'm a writer. Like, this is what I do for a living. I'm super professional. Oh my god. I'm going to be either like face palming or laughing about that for way too long. I probably find that way funnier than anybody else is going to. I may need a nap. Anyway, thank you so much to Valerie and Stuck in Books for having me on the blog today. I'm so sorry. It's such an honor to be here again. Big fan of the blog. Thank you so much for having me. And I will see you all soon. Thank you. Bye.